Good afternoon. In our last classes, we were discussing some of the mathematical tools that are important to understand physics. I have told you, without the knowledge of mathematics, understanding physics and solving the problems in physics becomes too much difficult, right? So it is necessary that you learn some of the basic tools that are required to solve the problems in physics. Probably we'll be ending the class on mathematical aid for physics by today, and what we have learned so far will be helpful for our next two chapters. After that, we will again go back to the mathematical tools or mathematical aid for physics, and we will learn the mathematical tools that are required to solve still more complex problems. We will learn about calculus, we will learn about trigonometry. So we will be making use of calculus and trigonometry and coordinate geometry in physics, right? It comes under application part of physics. I'll be throwing light on even these topics after completing the next two chapters, right? For understanding the next two chapters, the mathematical tools that we have learned so far will be more than sufficient. After completing those two chapters, we'll again go back to this chapter and we'll learn calculus, we will learn trigonometry, and we'll learn coordinate geometry as well. So, in the last class, I was telling you about the ratios. I have told you, you need to calculate ratio when you are asked to compare two quantities, right? So, I have told you how to calculate ratios and how to calculate ratios between different fundamental forces, which of the fundamental forces is the weakest force in nature and which is the strongest force in nature, and we were probably writing the fundamental forces in ascending order. See, if we have to write the fundamental forces in ascending order, the first force is the gravitational force. This is the weakest force in the nature. Next to gravitational force is weak nuclear force. Weak nuclear force. Next to weak nuclear force is electromagnetic force. And the strongest force in the nature is the strong nuclear force. So this is the ascending order of the fundamental forces present in the nature. So gravitational force is the weakest force in the nature. Next to gravitational force, the weak force in the nature is the weak nuclear force. Next to weak nuclear force, the electromagnetic force. And of all three, strong nuclear force is the strongest force in the nature. This is the ascending order of the forces. ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೀಕೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತೀನಿ. There may be some confusion as to what is their ascending order or what is the descending order of the forces. This is the ascending order. I think we have calculated the ratio of strong nuclear force to gravitational force, strong nuclear force to weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force to electromagnetic force. Have you done the calculations? Have you compared strong nuclear force with different forces? Have you done it? Have we compared? Have we compared them? Yes. So we have compared them. 1 by 10 power minus 39, 1 by 10 power minus 13, 1 by 10 power minus 2, 1 by 1. That is done, right? So this is all regarding ratios. After all understanding ratios, you need to understand the proportions. You need to understand what are direct and indirect proportions. Direct and indirect proportions. See, very frequently we will be using these terms in the laws of physics. while describing the laws of physics, we'll be using the terms directly proportional, inversely proportional and so on. ಈ terms ನ ಬಹಳ frequent ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. The force between two masses is directly proportional to the product of their masses ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ directly proportional ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Force between two masses is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them antive. What is meant by inverse proportion? What is meant by direct proportion? This must be known to you. So we will try to understand what is meant by direct proportion and what is meant by inverse proportion in this class, and probably this will be the end of this discussion. Mathematical aid of physics will be ending. This is just the first part of mathematical aid of physics. This will end at this point, and we will take up calculus and trigonometry in the next session again, right? So we will first try to understand what is meant by direct proportion. See, suppose I have to purchase some books ಅಥವಾ ಪೆನ್ ಏನೋ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. Suppose one pen costs rupees 10. The cost of one pen is 10. As I go on increasing the number of pens I purchase, what happens to the cost? If I go on increasing the quantity of the pens that I purchase, what happens to the cost? Here I write quantity, and here I write cost, right? I represent quantity as x and I represent cost as y, right? I am just representing quantity as x and cost as y. Let us suppose the first quantity or the first number of pens I purchase is represented by x1. x1 is 1. x1 represents number of pens I purchase. So x1 is 1. What is the cost of one pen? Say rupees 5. Right? x1 represents number of pens I have purchased, and y1 represents cost of that pen. As I increase the number of quantity of the pens I purchase, suppose I purchase 2 pens, the cost of 2 pens will be equal to 10, correct? As I increase the quantity of the pens, the cost of the pen goes on increasing. If I purchase 3 pens, the cost of 3 pens becomes 15. If I purchase 4 pens, the cost of 4 pens becomes 20. Isn't it? So, as the quantity of the pen increases, as the number of pens I purchase increases, what is happening to the cost? What is happening to the cost as the number of pens I purchase increases? Cost is also increasing. Now, what we say is, in this case, we say cost of pen is directly proportional to the quantity of the pens I purchase. Cost of pen is directly proportional to the quantity of the pens I purchase. More are the number of pens I purchase, more is the cost. Andre, as one increases, the other also increases. See, as quantity increases, 1 in the 2, 2 in the 3, 3 in the 4, alangella, cost kuda enagta hogtiyode. Cost is also increasing. As quantity increases, cost also increases. Suppose if I go on reducing the number of pens I purchase, firstly, suppose I purchased 4 pens today, it costed me 20 rupees. Tomorrow I purchase only 3 pens, it costs me 50 rupees. The next day I purchase only 2 pens, they cost me only 10 rupees. The other day I purchase only 1 pen, they cost me 5 rupees. As the quantity of pens is decreased, what happens to the cost? What happens to the cost? Quantity decrease ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ್ರೆ. What happens to the cost? Decreases. Correct ಅಲ್ಲ? So if one quantity increases with the increase in other quantity, nodri, the cost increases with the increasing quantity, also the cost decreases with the decreasing quantity of the pens purchased. E riti, if the two quantities increase simultaneously or decrease simultaneously, we say the two quantities are directly proportional to each other. We say the two quantities are directly proportional to each other. Hagadre ee case alli we say the quantity of pens I purchase and the cost of the pen are directly proportional to each other. This means more are the quantity of pens I purchase, more is the cost. Less is the quantity of the pens I purchase, less is the cost. Quantity increase ಆದರೆ cost increase ಆಗ್ತದೆ, quantity decrease ಆದರೆ cost ಕೂಡ decrease ಆಗ್ತದೆ, right? So we say quantity and the cost are directly proportional to each other. Is the idea of direct proportionality clear? ಯಾವಾಗ directly proportional ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು clear? If one quantity increases with the increase in another quantity, cost increases with the increase in quantity, or if one quantity decreases with the decrease in another quantity, cost decreases with the decrease in quantity of the pens purchased. E riti idre we say they both are directly proportional to each other, and we write it like this: quantity of pens is represented as x, quantity of pen is represented as x, and cost is represented as y. We write x is directly proportional to y. We represent a relationship between x and y. The relationship between x and y is they are directly proportional. How is it mathematically represented? They are mathematically represented in this way. X is directly proportional. This symbol must be read as proportional symbol. This must be read as proportional. X is directly proportional to y. I have told you what is x. X represents quantity, y represents cost. However, quantity and cost are directly proportional to each other. This is the idea of direct proportionality, right? Can you tell me what happens to the suppose you need to park some cycles in a parking lot. What happens to the charge that you have to pay with the number of cycles you park? As you go on increasing the number of cycles you park, what happens to the charges that you have to pay for that person? As the number of cycles you park goes on increasing, what happens to the cost or the charges that you have to pay for that person? ಒಂದು ಸೈಕಲ್ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, 2 ಸೈಕಲ್ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, 3 ಸೈಕಲ್ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ 15 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, 15 rupees ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, 4 cycles if parked you must pay 20 rupees and so on. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ as the number of cycles parked increases, the charges that you have to pay also increases. Correct alla? As number of cycles parked increases, the charges that you have to pay also increases. Similarly, if the number of cycles you park decreases, suppose you park very less number of cycles, what happens to the charges? Charges also decreases. Nodi, ಇದು increase ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು increase ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು decrease ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು decrease ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವೆರಡನ್ನು ನಾವು direct proportionality ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ, or we say they both are directly proportional to each other. So I can write number of cycles is directly proportional to the charges that are to be paid, right? there exists direct proportional relationship between number of cycles and the charges to be paid. Is this clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now, as far as direct proportions are concerned, you need to remember certain facts. ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಷ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ, ರೈಟ್? ದಟ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ನೋಟಿಸ್ಡ್. We will take up the same example of quantity and the cost of the pens. ಇದನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. x1, x2, x3, x4. See, x1, x2, x3, x4 represent the quantity of pens I purchase. y1, y2, y3 and y4 represent the cost of those pens. Suppose I purchase one pen, the quantity of the pens purchased is 1, the cost will be ₹5. I purchase 2 pens, the quantity is 2 and the cost of 2 pens will be 10, 3, 15, 4, 20, right? Now, can you tell me the ratio of x1 by y1, x1 by y1 ratio x2 by y2, x3 by y3? I think you'll be able to see this now. x1 by y1, x2 by y2, x3 by y3 and x4 by y4. You need to tell me these ratios. ನಾಲ್ಕು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಸೇಮ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. Will the ratios be same or they will be different? 1:5. Very good. x1 by y1 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you will get 1/5. x2 by y2 2 by 10 ಬರ್ತದೆ. 2 by 10 is again 1/5. x3 by y3 3 by 15 is again 1/5. x4 by y4 4 by 20 is again 1/5. So if two quantities are directly proportional to each other, if I say x is directly proportional to y, then you must remember the ratio of x and y always remains constant. Constant ಅಂದ್ರೆ same ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. x1 by y1 is 1/5, x2 by y2 is 1/5, x3 by y3 is 1/5, x4 by y5, sorry, y4 is again 1/5. So if two quantities are directly proportional to each other, then the ratio between them will always remain constant. ಯಾವುದೇ ಎರಡು quantities directly proportional ಅವೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಎರಡು quantities ಮಧ್ಯೆ ratio ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, that ratio will always remain constant. x1 by y1 ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತಪ್ಪ? 1/5, x2 by y2 1/5, x3 by y3 1/5, x4 by y4 1/5, x10 by y10 ಕೂಡ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? If you do x10 by y10, what do you get? If x and y are directly proportional to each other, what will be x10 by y10? What will be x10 by y10? Simple. There will be 1/5. So if x and y are directly proportional to each other, this condition bandre, if x is directly proportional to y, then you can always write this implies x by y is always a constant. Must remember this. If x and y are directly proportional to each other, then the ratio of x and y will always remain constant. ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. Suppose the cost for parking one cycle is 10 rupees. One cycle ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 10 rupees ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 2 cycles na park ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 20 rupees ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, 3 cycles na park ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 30 rupees ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. Can you say whether they are directly proportional or not? Number of cycles and the charge that you have to pay for parking the cycle, whether they are directly proportional or not. First, directly proportional ava illa ashte ಹೇಳಿ, whether they are directly proportional or not. Hey, ಏನು ಸರ್ ಏನೇನೋ ಅವಲ್ಲ, this is boring, isn't it? ಏನೋ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ಸ್, ಏನೋ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್, ಅವೆರಡು ಏನೋ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಪೋರ್ಷನಲ್ ಅಂತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ. ದಿಸ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಬೋರಿಂಗ್, isn't it? Okay, so they are directly proportional to each other. They are directly proportional to each other. Number of cycles parked, and the cost that we have to pay for parking the number of cycles are directly proportional to each other. I said the cost for parking one cycle, number of cycle is 1, and the cost is 10. 2 cycles get 20, 3 cycles get 30. Can you tell me the ratio of number of cycle to the cost in this case? N by R. N represents number of cycle and R represents the rupee that we have to pay. What will be the ratio for them? 1:10 constant ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ if number of cycles and the rate that are the cost that we have to pay are directly proportional to each other, number of cycle and the cost that you have to pay is directly proportional to each other, then I can always write N by R is a constant. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು ಅದು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್? ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು? N by R ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು? What is that constant value you are getting? 1/10. That's the constant value. Is that clear? So next time ಎಲ್ಲಾರು P directly proportional to Q ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಬರೀತೀರಿ? P directly proportional to Q. If you see this, what do you write? P directly proportional to Q ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. ಏನಂತ ಬರೀತೀರಿ? ನನಗೆ N directly proportional to R ಅಂತ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತು. So I wrote N by R is equals to constant. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತದೆ N by R ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. So I wrote it. Suppose ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲನ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾದಾಗ P directly proportional to Q ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಬರೀತೀರಪ್ಪ? ಬರೇ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಾರ್ದು. ಬರೇ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಏನು? What is constant? What is constant? P by Q is constant. That must be written. P by Q is constant. They are constant ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಾರ್ದಪ್ಪ. P is directly proportional to Q ಅಂದ್ರೆ you must write the ratio of P and Q is a constant. P ಮತ್ತೆ Q ನ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. I think I am clear. Yes, P by Q is a constant. So direct proportionality is ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? What is meant by direct proportion? When can you say two things are directly proportional to each other? If one thing increases and correspondingly the other also increases, we say this and this are directly proportional. If one decreases and correspondingly the other also decreases, we say these two are directly proportional to each other. When two quantities are directly proportional to each other, their ratio will always remain constant. So when I say x is directly proportional to y, we know that x by y is a constant, right? Hagadre, can I write this? x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2 is equals to x3 by y3 is equals to x4 by y4 is equals to so on up to xn by yn. It bari hoga. Can I write this? When x and y are directly proportional to each other, their ratios should remain constant. Note x1 by y1 is 1 by 5, x2 by y2 is also 1 by 5, x3 by y3 is also 1 by 5, x4 by y4 is also 1 by 4. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ is it wrong writing x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2? ಇವೆರಡು equal ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು 1 by 5, ಇದು 1 by 5. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2. x2 by y2 ಎಷ್ಟಂದ್ರೆ 1 by 5. x3 by y3 is also 1 by 5. x4 by y4 is also 1 by 5. x5 by y5 will also be 1 by 5. So is this wrong writing? Is this wrong writing like this? x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2 is equals to x3 by y3. ಬರಿಬೋದಾ ಬರಿಬಾರ್ದಾ? wrong ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಬರಿಬಾರ್ದಲ್ಲ. When x and y are directly proportional to each other, their ratios will not be equal. Their ratios will not be equal. Or their ratios will be equal. Yes, we can write it. We can write it. So remember these rules. Next now ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ proportionalities discuss ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ I have told you we will be describing the laws in terms of direct and inverse proportionalities many a number of times. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ if I say x is directly proportional to y, ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು go on writing x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2 is equals to x3 by y3. ಇದು ಬರ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಾರಿ ಅದು ಬರೋದ್ನೋ ಏನೋ x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2 is equals to x3 by y3 ಯಾಕೆ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಸಾರು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅವತ್ತು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋದು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಗೆ x1 by y1 is equals to x2 by y2 is equals to x3 by y3. ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? So to understand the things properly you need these mathematical rules. ಯಾಕೆ ಬರೀಬೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ? Will probably stop at this point. Okay. M is directly proportional to n. M is directly proportional to n. Tell me what is m by n is equals to. Tell me what is m by n is equals to. What is m by n is equals to? What is m by n is equals to? M by n is a constant. Very good. M by n is equals to a constant. Very good. M1 by n1, M2 by n2, M3 by n3 will be equal or unequal. Very good. Constant. Constant. M1 by n1, M2 by n2, M3 by n3 equal irtava unequal irtava? Clear? Clear? Clear ಅಲ್ಲ? Very good. ಈಗ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ observe. Suppose if I purchase 0 pence, I will have to pay 0 rupees. What I do is, I have now observed that x is directly proportional to y. Quantity and the cost are directly proportional to each other. Now, I represent this data graphically. ಈ ಡಾಟಾ ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ನ ತೋರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಒಳಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಹೇಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಬೇಕು? You need to consider two mutually perpendicular axes. ಒಂದು perpendicular axis consider ಮಾಡಿ. You consider two mutually perpendicular axes. Remember, on the x-axis, you must always plot the independent variable. Independent variable ಹಾಕಬೇಕು x-axis ಮೇಲೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ independent variable ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟನ್ನ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ರೈಟ್? ಒಂದು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ಎರಡು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ಮೂರು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ನಾಲ್ಕು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ x ಈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆಂಟ್. ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಒಂದು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಎರಡು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಮೂರು ಪೆನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ 15 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ So I represent cost on the y-axis. X and y are directly proportional to each other. This is important. If two quantities are directly proportional to each other, what will be the nature of the graph between them? ಅವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ? x y directly proportional ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವೆರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ? That must be known. Okay, I mark this as origin. I mark this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let this be 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on 25. This is called as the origin. We call this as the point where two axes intersect. The point where two axes intersect. ಯಾವ point of ಎರಡು axis intersect ಆಗ್ತಾವೋ ಅದನ್ನ origin ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. Okay. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, when I purchase 0 pens, what is the cost that I have to pay? 0. So quantity ಇಲ್ಲಿ 0 ಆಗಿದೆ. Cost ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲೇ 0. I mark it here. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ when I purchase 1 pen, the amount that I have to pay is rupees 5. Correct? 1 5. When I purchase 2 pens, I have to pay 10 rupees. When I purchase 3 pens, I have to pay 15 rupees. 4 pens, I have to pay 20 rupees. Correct? Marking rule. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ನು ಸರ್ ಇದೇನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಿರಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಡಾಟಾ ಬರ್ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಪಿಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲಿ ಕೂಡ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈವನ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? In the graphs, on the x-axis you have to plot independent variable, and on the y-axis you have to always plot a dependent variable. Okay. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ two points ನ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we will be getting a straight line. We will be getting a straight line that is passing through the origin. Notice the graph between quantity and cost is a straight line passing through elinda pass agtide, it is passing through origin. So whenever two quantities are directly proportional to each other, and if you plot a graph between them, the graph between them will be a straight line passing through origin. We say x and y are directly proportional to each other. You can say x and y are directly proportional to each other, or you can also say x and y varies linearly. X and y varies linearly. X and y varies linearly ಅಂದ್ರೆ x increase ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ y ಕೂಡ increase ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅಥವಾ x decrease ಆದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ y ಕೂಡ decrease ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. So ಇನ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೆನಪಿರಬೇಕು, if I say m and n are directly proportional to each other, what will be the nature of the graph between them ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ what will be the nature of the graph? Nature of the graph ಅಂದ್ರೆ graph ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತದಪ್ಪ? m and n are directly proportional to each other. What will be the nature of the graph between them? Sir, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ? Well, I know explain ಮಾಡಿ. You haven't understood. Bit difficult to understand. ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು m and n ಮಧ್ಯ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. m and n are directly proportional to each other. If I plot a graph between m and n, what will be the nature of the graph? Yes, the graph will be a straight line passing through. Graph will be a straight line passing through origin. Graph will be a straight line passing through origin. Alright, clear ಆಯ್ತು? Is this clear? What is direct proportionality? Direct proportionality idaga, when two quantities are directly proportional to each other, the ratio between them always remains constant. If m and n are directly proportional, m1 by n1 will be equal to m2 by n2, will be equal to m3 by n3, will be equal to m4 by n4, so on. And if you plot a graph between m and n, the graph will be a straight line passing through origin. Ishteno, this is all regarding direct proportionality. I hope the idea of direct proportionality is clear. I'll however send you the notes. Notes ಕೂಡ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಇದರ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಆದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ m and n are linearly varying. Linearly varying ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? m increase ಆದ್ರೆ n ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, m ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ n ಕೂಡ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಹೀಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅವೆರಡನ್ನು ಲೀನಿಯರ್ಲಿ ವೇರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಈ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹೊಸ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇವು, ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಿಲ್ ಎಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ದೆನ್. ಇನ್ನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಅದ? ಡು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಪೋರ್ಷನಾಲಿಟಿ ನಾಗೆ? Okay. Right then. We'll end this session. We'll continue in the next class. We'll learn inverse proportionality and then we will begin the chapter units and measurements. Right? Fine then. See you all. See you.